Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by the Hard Truth Distilling Company in Brown County, Indiana.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, it's time!
Three on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game!
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Float game for the win! Ayler's gone. Goodbye. Touchdown, Indy. Woo! IU! America! They got a football team now!
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, from the Hard Truth Studios, here's Jim Coyle.
Sports Beat Radio coming to you on this Thursday. So glad to have you along with us for the ride. Looking forward to another fun day. Bob Kravitz will be joining us here in this first hour, and plenty to get to, talk about last night. Plenty of action as well. Michigan, who will come into Bloomington on Saturday, had a big game last night at home against Oregon, a game that was tight. Went down to the line, but Michigan pulls that one out with their bigs, man. It's going to be kind of like watching Wisconsin when the Indiana fans watch the Michigan game. They've got a couple of bigs that are not going to be fun, but lots to talk about today as well. Rex Ryan, the new DC at USC. We'll hear from him in a minute as well. In addition to President Trump signs an executive order blocking transgender athletes from women's sports. It will deny federal funds to high school and colleges that do not comply. It's male or female. Science, people. It's pretty simple. And it was signed on National Girls and Women's in Sports Day. The people that would be against this will be in the small minority and ignorant. But glad to see this passes, in my opinion. Sorry if you're on the other side. I don't really care on this because it's ignorant. This is just one of those things I deem as pure ignorance. So the fact that there has to be a law shows the ignorance of certain people. But this will take care of that. And glad to see it. And I'm sure a lot of girls that are in sports are glad to see it. We saw this happen at the previous Olympics. And it's utterly ridiculous. So, but we don't even have to talk about that. It's done deal. Michigan had a tough game last night. I watched part of it, man. Wolf and Golden, they're a pair of big boys, pair of bigs. Both can shoot from outside. Wolf, pretty good shooter from outside. He will definitely put it up frequently, as Indiana fans will find out on Saturday. Last night, Michigan ends up beating Oregon in the final score of 80-76 in a tight one. And then Rutgers, they get a win over Illinois at home. And something I was thinking, I'm going to have to go back and look, but as far as Big Ten teams go, I'm going to have to, and this would be a guess, but I am going to go out on a limb and take a wild guess that in the Big Ten Conference, that I look through Washington, I know that I think that they beat, I forget who they beat somebody good. I know Penn State, they beat Purdue. Minnesota beat Michigan. I'm going to have to check Northwestern's schedule. I think that Indiana is the only team in the Big Ten that does not have what I would consider a quality win. A win over a team that will play in the NCAA tournament. I will hazard a guess that Indiana is the only Big Ten program that does not have such a win in the conference. I would go further to say Indiana is the only team that doesn't have a win over another Big Ten team that will play in the NCAA tournament, much less I don't think Penn State's going to make it. No, they're second to last in the conference standings. So, no, they're not going anywhere. The irony, again, still this late in the season right now, not a single Big Ten team overall has a losing record. That's crazy. Washington, the worst team in the league at 2-9 in conference play, is 11-11 overall. Now, they will most likely finish with a losing record. Minnesota, they're flirting. They're 12-11, but they're hanging in there. Appreciate you guys being with us on the program today. Great to see all of you on the Andy Moore Honda hotline as well. And make sure throw the comments up there. Hit the like button. Hit that like button. Man, I don't say that enough. Russell asking, will North Carolina go after Billy Donovan? I don't understand. Every time a job comes open, two names come up. Billy Donovan and Brad Stevens. Man, I don't think those guys are coming back to college, people. Why would they not get another NBA job? What? Yeah, I don't see that. So, yeah, the big names like that. Let's see. Oh, what the heck we got on there? I was going to pull up. Oh, here we go. I talked about Rex Ryan. May have to save that, but he took reporters on a magical mystery tour when he opened up his press conference as the new DC at USC. Let's hear what he had to say.
Watch where we finish this year. This guy is special. He's special. He knows how to get it done. He's a great communicator, great teacher. He's fun to be around. He makes everybody better, including the coaches. And, we'll see. I'm looking forward for the, spring ball or whatever. I can't wait. But we're going to go against the best. Oh, good. Bring it on. Let's see. How can we see that little JUCO kid from Hutch? We're going to get after his little butt. But anyway, it'll be great. We're excited. And I saw the Mayava guy. I coached his uncle. I hated that kid when I first saw him. A USC kid, a little captain. Remember, he could walk under this table right here. Little guy. We draft this little one. Like, oh, man. This guy, I was all over this kid during the OTAs. Like, man, this guy, man, he's got to run to cover guy. Anyway, so then I'm like, hey, guys, Sweet Life is going on vacation with the family, going out to Hawaii, going to Maui. I've never been to Maui. I run things in Oahu, but I'm going to go to Maui. He's like, hey, Rob, you get in any kind of trouble now, you just tell him you know Kalooks. I'm like, well,
that was Rob Ryan talking about nobody knows. He was just rambling yesterday. It was kind of funny. Very odd. But there you go, man. Little juice in the Big Ten next season. Kind of stirring things up. Funny. That's going to be very interesting. But all kinds of things changing around in the Big Ten. And you've got Jim Knowles moving from Ohio State to Penn State. And I think he made the comment that Penn State is, where did it go? Penn State is just this close to winning a national championship. Jim Knowles, there we go. Jim Knowles said that growing up in Philadelphia, he dreamed of being at Penn State. Boy, that's what you want to hear. This is an Ohio State guy. Now the Nittany Lions' new defensive coordinator, Knowles, said his dream is helping Penn State capture its first national championship in almost 4 decades. So if you're a Penn Stater, you got that going for you. A lot of coaching bounces bouncing around. Coaches all over the place. Deion Sanders, now after the rumors have been floating about going to the Cowboys, said, let's see, what was his comment? I couldn't coach pro ball. I couldn't coach pro ball, Sanders said on his show, which streamed Tuesday. That's why I said I couldn't coach. I know it was cute, but I couldn't coach pro ball because the way they practice, the way they go about it, I couldn't take it as a man and as a football enthusiast. And I care about the game. The game is still providing for Troy and I, so there is no way I could allow that to happen on my watch. That would be tough. I don't even know what half these guys are talking about, man. Hey, we got to take a break from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios. Lots more coming up, including Bob Kravitz in this hour. Back with more from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios right after this break.
At Ben Davis Chevrolet and Ben Davis Ford in Auburn, we're your one-stop shop for all of your automotive needs. We have the area's best selection of over 300 vehicles, including new cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Plus a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles in stock. And if we don't have what you're looking for, we'll find it for you. We also have top-of-the-line service and parts, plus a collision repair center, and we're competitively priced on everything. For sales, service, collision, parts, and more, we do it all. Come see us today or visit us online at BenDavisChevrolet.com and BenDavisFord.com.
Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer. If you're looking for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Realty at Cheryl@IndyHomePros.com or 317-701-0838. 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore help you find the home you want today. Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth's sour mash bourbons, sweet mash, and hard road ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular toasted coconut rum, Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Thursday. So glad to have you with us. Looking forward to having the day with you. And Bob Kravitz will join us here in this hour. Plenty to get to. Indiana welcomes in Michigan and Dusty May over the weekend on Saturday. Looking forward to that. Yeah, I agree with Aaron. Billy Donovan's comfortable, man. These guys are not coming back. People that think, I had somebody last night going on about Billy or oh, doggone it, Brad Stevens. And I'm like, guys, stop with this stuff, man. I just don't see it. I guess anything is always possible, but that's not that. I just don't see that stuff happening. I really don't. There's probably more pressure at Indiana and Kentucky than an NBA job. I don't, but there's less money, there's less prestige, there's less, I'm not going to say less work, but they're very different. They're very different. So we'll see. We shall see. Looking forward to talking about it, though. In Indiana, what can they do with this Michigan team? They have two bigs that are very prolific at stepping outside. I won't say that Vladimir Golden is prolific, but Wolf is pretty good at shooting the three. Who are you going to get to guard both of those 7-footers that won't get into foul trouble? That's going to be difficult, but it is what it is. And see, I saw it. Lori posted this. Yeah. Please put this to rest. Going around on Facebook that Zach Osterman says there are a news conference today at 3 p.m. with the firing of Woodson. First of all, I saw someone had created a fake tweet by Zach, which is utterly preposterous. Fortunately, you could see the tweet came from at Tweet Generator. Idiots. What is wrong with people? I mean, there's just not enough going on that you don't have enough in your life that you feel you have to do something so stupid as this. Thank you, Laurie, for posting that. But it's utterly ridiculous to people that do this, number one. Number two, I say this so much. If you're getting your news from Facebook, you're not getting your news. Stop. News does not come from Facebook. Now, I'm not saying that people may not repost something there that is accurate, but generally, it is people trying to be a reporter, people trying to be like this, put out ridiculous stuff. So, yeah, there is no press conference today at 3:00. They're not going to. How many games you got left? I just don't see it happening before the end of the season. It will happen. And that's another thing. It's going to happen, people. Relax. Why are you so bent out of shape? They do not fire winners. They do not fire successful coaches. Therefore, if your coach is winning and successful, probably not going to get fired. But if you're having problems, it's probably because you're not having a good season. Things are not going well. A lot of people have expressed the fact that they want change. Okay, you have to wait for that. You have to wait until the season is over, when it will take place, not because you want it now. Firing Woodson right now it would be dumb. What does it accomplish? Nothing. It would probably impact the team worse than they're already impacted in many ways. So stop. You have to go through the suck to get to the ah. And the rest of the season will probably suck. But then you'll get the ah moment. But that's just how it is. Go through the rain to get to the sun. It's just chill, people. Stop. I mean, geez. I get it about being upset, not liking how things have gone, not understanding. Well, there is an explanation. Mike Woodson's not good at what he does. He was the wrong hire. And okay, there's no doubt about any of that. But just beating that dead horse over and over every day, it's not going to do any of us any good. It's just going to get you all worked up. Enjoy the the rest of the games you have. Contemplate what it might be like next season. Contemplate the turnaround in basketball that you're probably going to see that you saw in football. That should be what you're focusing on. Start getting excited about the return to that because you haven't been there for so long. And I truly believe that Scott Dolson will get this right. So that's just my spiel on that. But what are you going to do? I'll get Bob Kravitz to set you guys straight. I understand it's so frustrating. And mainly because a lot of it doesn't make sense. I get it. You don't understand how a guy who coached as long as he has coached, who coached under the people that he coached, who went to school in Indiana, there just doesn't seem to be a connection. I get it. It doesn't make sense, but it is what it is. And after 4 years, everyone should understand that. Who is going to be the next guy? That's more important. Is the next guy coming to Simon Scott Assembly Hall this Saturday in Dusty May? Boy, that's going to be interesting because there's no doubt Dusty is going to get a standing ovation. And I'm not sure no, we've already talked about that. Nothing to these rumors regarding Zach Osterman tweeting anything out. He did not. That was someone said a fake tweet of his yesterday. Fake. If there's something to it, people, you will see it on Twitter from other reliable sources, not from other people, other fans. When you're seeking to find out if information is accurate or not, don't go looking at other fans. Don't go ask other fans. Go directly to legitimate sources. That's where you find out if something is real or not. But don't go asking other people who don't know. What the hell are they going to tell you? Repeating a rumor? But I can't wait for the rumors to start flying. I'm surprised more rumors haven't sprung out of this, to be honest with you, especially in regards to coaches and coaches' names. But I guess maybe we haven't gotten there yet since the position is not officially open. You're exactly right, Laurie. It is crazy. That's exactly how to put it. It's crazy. There you go, Coolio. The common sense test. That is the best way to put it. Just use some common sense, people. Use some common sense. Herbal says the Indiana job would be a demotion for Stevens. Yes, you're right. It would be. It would be. Why would he want to step into that? And it doesn't matter where it is. I love it, but Herbal says Facebook is for the elderly. Not necessarily the elderly. I call it the uninformed. Russell said, also heard from a cast that he would help secure the incoming recruits for Indiana, but not be involved. Dude, stop with this stuff. That is crap. More crap. That's more crap. Okay, you heard from what? Did you hear this from, no matter what you've heard about anything, did you hear it from a legitimate news outlet? That's all I ask you. Someone that is a credentialed member of the media. There's a good place to start. Not a cast. Not a whatever. Not Facebook. Boy, this is providing some manna from heaven today. Rudy says he disagrees that you all are the news now. The people are the news. They create their own news. Oh, there is some of that. There is some of that going around. There you go. Fred says ISBR is his reliable source. I don't care. Aaron is not on the beat. He's not a credentialed member of the IU media. So that's crap. I think that is just a clickbait. That's actually one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. I'm assuming, Russell, this is because it's not in here. He is Brad Stevens. Is that correct? Am I correct in assuming that you're speaking of Brad Stevens, that Brad Stevens is going to help secure the incoming recruits for Indiana? He's going to recruit for Indiana while he's president of the Boston Celtics. That's a conflict of interest. So that ain't happening. Jeez. He is not recruiting for Indiana. He has a job as president of the Boston Celtics. That does not include recruiting college basketball. Number one, what recruiting goes on in college basketball now? Very little. It's mostly portal. I'm going to bounce off of this, take a break. Up next, Bob Kravitz should be joining us. We'll be back with more from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios right after this. Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth's sour mash bourbons, sweet mash, and hard road ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular toasted coconut rum, Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. Ugly Grouper, located on beautiful Anna Maria in Florida, is the place to be, and not just because they have unforgettable meals, including locally sourced seafood. The Ugly Grouper has your favorite craft beers and cocktails, along with live music every day. The Ugly Grouper is family-friendly, able to host private parties, and has the biggest grouper you've ever seen. The Ugly Grouper is the place to be on Anna Maria Island, Florida. Tell them Indiana Sports Beat sent you. Go to theuglygrouper.com for more information. When it comes to apparel and promotions, Freethink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. Freethink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. Freethink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what Freethink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com.
At Ben Davis Chevrolet and Ben Davis Ford in Auburn, we're your one-stop shop for all of your automotive needs. We have the area's best selection of over 300 vehicles, including new cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Plus a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles in stock. And if we don't have what you're looking for, we'll find it for you. We also have top-of-the-line service and parts, plus a collision repair center, and we're competitively priced on everything. For sales, service, collision, parts, and more, we do it all. Come see us today or visit us online at bendavischevrolet.com and bendavisford.com.
Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Thursday. And you know what that means. Our good friend Bob Kravitz joins us. How are you, sir?
I'm splendid, man. How are you?
Cannot complain. If I was any better, I'd be Bob Kravitz.
Well, we can all dream.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I can do, man. Rest assured, President Donald Trump signed an executive order blocking transgender athletes, preventing people like you from trying to participate in women's sports. Saw you wearing those wigs, man. Tried them out. Not going to work anymore, baby. It's over.
Yeah, I didn't know you were going to hit me with that one right off the top.
I just happened to look down and it was there, and I thought it would be funny.
Yeah, no, for the first time in my life, I think I might agree with the guy.
Yeah. No doubt. I am totally. The
For the
sad
first
part
time in my
is
life.
the sad part is that this has to be a law. That's the
Yeah,
saddest part to me.
the thing is, I was reading up on it last night. There's maybe 20,
Yes,
10 or
it's a very
20.
small percentage.
It's like a solution in search of a problem. And all it is culture war grandstanding. That's
Yes.
all it is. It's not necessary. These people have it tough enough, but even I say this as a liberal, I kind of agree with them.
Well, how do you not? I mean, it's just, no pun intended, but it's just been organizations not having the balls to do what they should have done, and women compete against women, men compete against men. It's not fair for the women.
Well, I have to say, I was reading up on it last night, and men who go through the transition do not have a physical advantage over the women. They've done lots of studies and lots of tests.
Well, there's a lot of people that disagree with that. For the ones,
they can, but that's the science of it.
But
we're
not going to stay on that subject. That would not get us going anywhere today. That would probably open up a whole different can of worms.
That's true.
Michigan last night they had a home game against Oregon, a tough conference game, pull out a win. Man, they're battling for the Big Ten lead right now. Purdue kind of has taken over. Michigan State taking a couple of L's, and Purdue is staying strong. They just got a huge win on the road at Iowa to secure first place alone right now with a single loss. And but Michigan is one of the teams that is chasing Purdue for that title, and that's going to be something. But man, is there ever been a bigger moment when an opposing coach is coming into Indiana at a time like this?
Right. I mean, I'm really curious to see, excuse me, how the crowd reacts.
Well, I'll tell you, Dusty's going to get a standing ovation, and I think that Woody will get booed.
Yeah. And Dolson's not a dumb guy. He sees what's happening in front of him, and it's the die is cast.
Boom. He's already doing his due diligence.
Guarantee. Well, most good executives have a list, a wish list. Really from the moment they hire Coach X, they have a wish list of guys that they're interested in. Should he not work out, or should he move on? So I'm sure Dusty May, and I'm sure Chris Beard.
Well, how they're not the top two would be mind-boggling. And to be honest with you, there's a stark difference between the two, because one has baggage, one does not. Not. I honestly think that Chris Beard has become a fan favorite of the two. If I had to take a guess, he's definitely politicking for the job.
Is he? Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say politicking, but
I know he mentions Bob Knight all the time.
Well, he did, and he did the other night at halftime of a beatdown of Kentucky of all teams, and there was no way that was an accident. I mean,
you think he was sending out the bat signal?
Exactly. There, it's just no way that's coincidental, and I don't blame him. He wants that job, but he's at Ole Miss. Why wouldn't he?
Oh, absolutely. I think he's the guy. I mean, I think he's. I don't know what his buyout is. It can't be all that overwhelming. $3 million,
3.5,
3.5. That's a drop in the bucket.
That's nothing.
That's Steve Ferguson's change in his pants.
Yep. Well, Dusty Mays is only $5 million.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's amazing to me that just 1 year into his tenure at Michigan, it's only $5 million.
Also not accidental.
Yeah.
Aha.
Yeah.
Aha. Aha. Yeah, that was not accidental. There's no coach, and I've said this 1,000 times, no coach in his position at a P4 program like that has any kind of buyout like that in their first season. It's not even possible unless you negotiate it. But
that would be great. It's going to be an interesting atmosphere on Saturday.
Well, the question is now, what does Indiana do?
What do they do? I don't know. I mean,
for once though, Bob, it seems like you kind of can't go wrong, which is rarefied air for Indiana. They usually have nothing but situations that you can go wrong in. But between those two, it would seem you can't make a bad choice. It's Dusty May's dream job.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's Chris Beard's dream job per se. Is it a dream, or it is a dream job?
Well, I think having worked with Knight and Pat Knight for many years at Texas
Yeah,
Tech.
but when he did that, Bob Knight hated Indiana.
Yeah, but I don't know. That doesn't always transfer. I don't know. I think Chris Beard would walk a mile over broken glass to take this job.
I agree 1,000%.
Yeah,
1,000%.
And look,
with you on his back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And look, he's got a little bit of baggage, but I looked it up last night, and that all kind of went away. I don't know what the circumstances were, but it's obviously disturbing the charges that were brought, but his wife decided not to bring charges, and they kind of faded away. So who are we to tell somebody how to handle their internal family dynamics?
Yeah, and you've got to look at second chances. There's a whole lot of things you can go be like, all right, and then the program was built on Bob Knight. Well, we don't have to go far there to interject some things. Not that it makes anything right, and not that
no,
and not that anything is being condoned. It's not by any stretch of the imagination. But I think that Chris Beard is the guy too. Personally,
I do too.
I think he is the guy that will bring Indiana back to where the fans want them to be. I think that with Chris Beard, you would see a turnaround like you saw in football. And it's a lot easier to do it on the basketball side than it is the football.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, he took a Texas Tech team to the Final Four, for God's sake. I mean,
championship game.
I mean, he is a solid coach. I've liked him when I've dealt with him as a media person. He's a little gruff, like Coach Knight, but he doesn't take any BS. He doesn't suffer fools gladly. So that's I'm fine with that. I don't need a song and dance man. I need somebody who's going to win.
All right, I've had a discussion. I say that firing Woodson now is pointless.
Pointless.
And there's others that disagree, that would like to see him gone now. And I understand that. Everyone has their own opinions, and I'm cool. I'm not, calling you out or anything. I'm just showing that different people think different things. My reasoning is it's pointless. It will do no good. That as fractured and factioned as this team is, that you could probably splinter them even more, and that would only lead to worse things.
Yeah,
there's nothing good that will come of it. I don't think.
And the truth of the matter is, as much as they've struggled, this season is still mildly salvageable.
That's the crazy part, Bob. You are right.
They're 60 in the net? 69, 67, something like that. If they could just pull one quad win or two quad wins out of their butts, they could sneak in.
They would be in the brackets right now had they won Maryland and Purdue.
I know. And that's the crazy thing. And So no, it makes no sense to move on from Woody. That would be a totally dumb emotional move.
Yeah, CentraTube says if Archie didn't get fired midway through the 12 and 15 season, Woodson isn't going to get fired mid-season. Indiana does they don't do that. Number one,
no,
it's just not
it makes no sense.
And again, you can't talk to other coaches right now. You can't hire another coach right now. You can back channel. That's all you can do.
Right.
There's just nothing good that will come of it.
No.
I believe that. So.
Yeah,
I don't think that IU hires Chris Beard. If they hire, well, we'll see.
I agree with that, man. I think he's the real deal. He's proved it everywhere he's been. He's taken, schools that are not normally powerhouses. I mean, look at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is having a decent season in the SEC, which is the toughest conference in the nation, and. I mean, the guy's he just has success everywhere he goes.
Well, and you cannot ignore what Dusty has done either. I mean, he took a program that was in a crapper after Juwan Howard, and what are they doing? Fighting for first place in the Big Ten.
Right.
They both have had magical seasons, and I think that Chris probably started a little further down. He took over a 13-22 Ole Miss team 2 seasons ago. That probably didn't have much, and he started them out 15-0 in their season 1, and then this season they were ranked early and still are in the top 25 in the toughest conference in the country. That, like you mentioned, so it's going to be something to see what Indiana ends up doing. I cannot see them passing on Dusty May if they have the opportunity.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Dusty May would be the first choice. I think Chris Beard would be a very close second. After that, good luck. I'm not really sure where they go, but I don't even want to think about that. But those are the 2 guys who clearly stand above the rest.
Yeah, and then I wonder, does Dusty make we know Dusty would love this job. No question that this is the dream job of Dusty May. He's from here. He was a manager. This is what would seem to be made in heaven for him and IU fans. But is he going to take that step away from Michigan after 1 season? That's a question that people ask. And my only response to that is, well, he didn't negotiate that low buyout for nothing.
Right. There's something there. Yeah, I mean, are his buyouts consistently low over the years, or do they? That's
$5 million. It goes to $4 million May 1st.
Okay.
So that's the nut. Yeah,
that's
it just starts dropping. No, I keep Nate Oates at Alabama right now, $18 million.
Right.
Just as an example, and he does not sign a contract this season, so. That just shows you how out of skew that buyout is for a first-year coach.
That too is a bad signal.
Absolutely. Indiana now, forgetting all of that, they've got a game Saturday against Michigan. And you talked earlier about, unbelievably, it's still salvageable because they have games against Michigan State. Or Michigan, then Michigan State. Now, obviously, that's going to be Indiana has not shown that they can do much on the road, but you never know.
You never know.
In Archie's year where he lost 13 in a row or whatever, they win going to top 10 Michigan State that year. I still will never forget that. I'm like, how the hell does this happen? But it is still salvageable. They have. And what if Indiana beats Michigan on Saturday? That would throw even more weirdness into this entire situation.
Oh, absolutely. Sorry, excuse me for 1 second. I have to plug my computer in because my battery's getting low.
Oh, we cannot have that.
Yeah,
that would not be fun. That would be like having Rex Ryan at a press conference going off. I hope you get a chance to go visit that after we're done. Rex Ryan is the new DC at USC.
Oh, you're kidding me. I didn't see that. I just rolled out of bed.
his presser is worth watching because he starts talking about, I don't even know what he's talking about.
You talking about Rob Ryan or
did I say Rex? I meant Rob.
Rob. Yeah, I saw a video. Yeah,
I wrote Rex Ryan down. Daggone it. And
yeah,
I
that's
meant
okay.
Rob.
He'll have a job soon somewhere.
Oh yeah, he's trying to get back into coaching.
Yeah. Well, Saints are the only open job, I think.
Well, Rob Ryan is something. He's got the long hair and the big old belly.
He got the big old belly. I've been working on one of those for years.
Looks like he's way ahead of you, brother. He's way ahead of you.
Yeah.
But Saturday, Indiana has an opportunity to do something they haven't done. I mentioned earlier, Bob, I think that Indiana, I'm going to research it completely, but I think that Indiana might be the only Big Ten team that does not have a win over another Big Ten team that will play in the NCAA tournament.
I think, they haven't beaten anybody.
I'm talking from the bottom up. Washington has a win. Penn State, all of those, Northwestern, all of those teams have wins over somebody except
it's
for
pathetic.
Indiana.
It's just pathetic. And people talk about expanding the field. I'm like, wait a minute. Indiana's had more chances. We say this, it's a big game. Well, they've had how many big games and they've lost them all. And they've lost them all usually by double digits anytime they've been challenged. So I'm not holding out a lot of hope, but it is at home. So you never know.
Yeah, we'll see. But I think this game is going to be tough for Indiana because of what Michigan brings. Those two bigs in Vladimir
Golden.
Wolf is a good 3-point shooter. Who's going to take him? Nobody is on Indiana can guard him without Malik Reneau is going to get into foul trouble.
No, within 5 minutes.
Follow him around. And Ballo is just not athletic enough, I think, to track those guys down. But both of them, Golden is getting more and more confident in the paint as well. He just willed them to a win at the end last night.
Yeah, no, they run such a pretty pick and roll, those two. I've never seen two bigs run the pick and roll as well as they do. No, Michigan's solid from top to bottom. Gosh, how should I bet that game? Let's see. I wonder what the line is on that one.
Indiana, Michigan?
Yeah.
Well, let's
look it up.
The listeners will tell us quicker than I can probably put it up, but that's pretty easy to pull up once I get my stupid phone open. But
no, I'm sorry.
I would guess
2.5.
Indiana has to be. Is that what it is? Somebody put
I don't know. I'm guessing.
Oh, I stopped looking.
Okay,
I'm just going to wait for somebody else to put it up.
All right,
but I'll guess that is it. But we shall see. Indiana then goes to Michigan State, and it's
UCLA.
The thing is, we talk about them still having a chance, but they're still having the same problems. They can't handle pressure situations. It just seems like this team is not prepared to do anything. They're not prepared to play defense. They're not prepared to run an offense. They're not prepared to play together. They're the Ballo Rice thing at the end of the Purdue game. While I understand his frustration, but acting like that is childish.
That is childish.
It is completely childish.
You want to hold your teammate accountable, that's fine, but that's a 10-second conversation. That's not 5-10 minutes of acting like a fool on the sidelines.
Russell says he doesn't think Woody is ready to move on. I don't think that matters. That ship has sailed, people. The ship has left the dock, and he's on it, whether he wants to be or not.
They've already served cocktails on that sucker.
Yeah, but I just don't. What is Indiana going to try to do? See, they have to try to do something different.
What's their culture, Jim? What do they do well?
They don't do anything because they don't. Nothing's ever the same. nothing is ever the same, number one. Number two, there just doesn't ever seem to be a specific. Now, Purdue, they actually handled that game pretty well.
Yeah.
They forced Purdue to do some things they weren't capable of, but that's right now because Purdue is not a team that plays well against teams like that have the bigs because they're not prepared for that at the moment. They're more of a, with Kaufman Wren, they're more of a free-flowing type offense. Like when they played Iowa, they put 90 on Iowa. That's the kind of games that Purdue is going to excel in. And actually, I think they're better set. But when they get into the NCAA tournament again, boy, it seems like every team now has two bigs, but not the way Indiana has two bigs.
Right.
They have two bigs that can shoot the ball, and that's a huge, huge difference.
Yeah, Purdue continues to amaze. I mean, they just do. I mean, you think back to the days of Carson Edwards, they were a run and gun 3-point shooting team. Then with Edey and the big guys, they were a low post team, and now they're back to being more run and gun. I mean, they seem to know what they are. They know who they are, and I just don't get that sense with Indiana. I haven't really since Woody got here.
No, the problem is there's no discipline, there's no pride, there's really no anything. There's not much individual pride that I see.
Yeah.
The guy that kind of stood up mostly toward the end has been Luke Goody. Ironically, he's only been here for less than a full season and a cup of coffee. And yeah, it's a weird situation.
Well, these guys it's not like the old days where you went to school because you loved the coach, and you loved the school, and you had a connection to the university. These guys are mercenaries now. They're just mercenaries. They're Hessians. They come in, they do their thing, and they leave. And there's no real connection. And I think the fans can feel that. Now you look at Indiana football, those guys are mercenaries too, but they didn't just come here for the money, because the money for IU football is good, but it's not Ohio State good. But they seem to develop a real love and understanding of the university in no time. And I give Cignetti a lot of praise for that. But this IU group, this is just a bunch of strangers meeting on a bus.
Strangers meeting in the rain. Hey, I've got to take I agree with that. Bob Kravitz from bobkravitz.com with us right now. And if you have a few extra moments, we can do it on the other side of this break.
Yeah, no problem, man.
All right, we'll do that. We'll be back with more for you folks right after we take a break from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios. Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth's sour mash bourbons, sweet mash, and hard road ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular toasted coconut rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. If you're looking for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Realty at cheryl@indyhomepros.com or 317-701-0838. 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore help you find the home you want today. Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33 Pizza. Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. And you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Thursday. The great Bob Kravitz from BobKravitz.com with us. What have you been working on, man?
Well, I took about 2 weeks off. If you read my column, I was struggling a little bit and took 2 weeks off. And today, Pacers are on the trade deadline is today. So probably have something to say about that. Not sure. Yeah, obviously IU on Saturday. I got. I'm very fortunate. I've got tickets to Billy Joel and Sting on Saturday, so I'll be doing that. Not that your listeners care at all.
I've seen Billy Joel, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I tell you how long ago it was. I saw him at Market Square Arena.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Saw Paul McCartney there as well.
Very nice. Yeah. So I got a couple of things in the hopper.
Got a couple of things. Pacers, man, they have been a welcome surprise, winning a lot. Had a
17 of their last 23, I believe it is.
Yeah, I think then they get up to 18 of 24 or something like
maybe,
that.
Maybe 18 of 20.
But still, after the start that they had, great run for the Pacers. Do you expect anything to happen?
I don't. I thought maybe Miles Turner to Los Angeles because that's been rumored forever. But last night the Lakers traded with the Hornets to grab Mark Williams, who's a 7'2" young center. So that's clearly off the board. I think they're going to stand pat, to be honest with you. I think they're going to stand pat. They're going to take the chance that they can sign Miles Turner at the end of this summer. And I mean, they're taking a risk. They're risking that they're going to lose Miles for nothing. So, again, that's their decision. But no, it's I think status quo for the time being. That's not to say something might not happen the next 6 hours, 5 hours, but I think they're happy with what they got.
I absolutely agree, and they seem to be where they want to be because they're winning. They're playing better defense. They're just playing better as a team right now. Well, they added Thomas Bryant during the season, so that gave them a little bit of boost off of the bench as well. I'm not sure what more they would do unless it was some kind of a blockbuster trade. I can't imagine what else they would add.
Yeah, I mean they're a pretty complete team. They could use another big, like a third big, like Jalen Smith did for them last year. They could use somebody there because they lost Wiseman and Jackson to Achilles tears early this season. They could use another big, but I don't think they're desperate. I might be wrong. I might hang up and Shams Charania will have a tweet that Miles has been traded, but I don't see it right now, at least based on conversations I've had.
I can never pronounce his name correctly.
Who?
Shams
Charania?
Yeah.
It's not that difficult.
Yeah, I guess it's like Kasparas Jokicanis.
That's good. I don't think I can do him.
I couldn't either before. If it were for Mike DeCourcy coming along and saying it first, and I wrote it down as he spoke it phonetically.
Write it out phonetically.
I wrote it down phonetically just so I could proposition that name correctly. But yeah, it's going to be good for the Pacers. They're going to be in a better position this year as far as the playoffs go. So that'll be fun. Now, if they can only get the Hoosiers to follow suit, but there will be no postseason. People have asked me, will Indiana, will they play in the NIT? And I'm like, oh, hell no. Absolutely not. They are going to be busy, and playing in other games is not on their bingo card for that. They are going to be getting and aligning a new coach in, so they will not be extending the season at all. It will end, I surmise, one game into the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
Could be two. You never know.
If you make the Big Ten tournament.
I think that they will.
I think they will too, but
I think that they're going to be a low seed
no doubt.
Low seed, bottom seed, without question. But yeah, they would have to really try hard to not make the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, they'd have to collapse. Now, I think that's the frustrating thing is I think there's talent there. I think that's the biggest demerit. I think the biggest criticism of Woodson is there is talent there. I mean, I think Miles Rice can play a little bit. Keenan Carlisle, no. But Miles Rice, Ballo, I think they've got some talent, but he has not put it together at all.
It's crazy too, because they're obviously the talent is there. They nearly beat in back-to-back games a good Maryland team, a very good Purdue team on the road, no less, and could not get it done. But they couldn't get it done just because of dumb things. They didn't have the play run set up. They didn't know what to do in two different games, all the substitutions and the confusion, and that just comes down to a coach not knowing what he's doing.
I agree. The end of that Maryland game was hard to watch.
It's just hard to take for someone being paid millions of dollars to do something. It's as if they were less involved than the average person off the street. And I mean that. The average person off the street would have been ready, would have been aware, would have had his players aware, would make sure that, hey, if they do this, we're going to do that. There's none of that. And it doesn't make sense. This is elementary stuff.
I know. And then to come out against Wisconsin, a great three-point shooting team, and not be prepared for a three-point onslaught, and not guarding out at the arc just makes no sense to me.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Are you coming to Bloomington for the game Saturday?
I'm not, because I got concert tickets. So.
Oh, that's right. You'll be tickling the ivories with Billy Joel.
Exactly. Me and Sting and Billy Joel.
Well, sing us a song, Piano Man.
You don't want to hear that, my friend.
No one wants to hear me except for Russell. He begs for me to sing every day. But
Is that your dog?
No, that's Hank. This Russell's one of the listeners. I think it's all in jest, because we all know that I cannot sing.
You can't. Yeah. I've heard you.
Carry a tune in a bucket, baby.
No. It's
carry a tune in a bucket if you gave me two people to help me.
That might be an FCC violation. You singing
that? You know what? I never thought of that. That is.
Yeah, you gotta be aware of that.
It's all kinds of violations. It's a human violation without question. Bob Kravitz from bobkravitz.com. Make sure you are a subscriber. Give him a follow. Keeping up with all the Indiana content, whether it's the Colts, the Pacers, the Hoosiers, the Boilers, the 500, no matter what. The Fever. They've been kind of quiet, huh?
They're a championship contender, Jimmy. Telling you.
Hey, it's almost fever season.
A lot better.
I got a fever, and the only cure is more cowbell.
Cowbell, absolutely. I
need more cowbell, man. I got to have more cowbell.
It's not bad.
Bob Kravitz, the great Bob Kravitz, joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. I just wish we had more cowbell, man.
It's not bad, Jim.
Well, there's one of my few talents. I don't have many. Bob Kravitz, appreciate you, brother.
All right, buddy. Take care of yourself.
Absolutely. Bob Kravitz joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. More coming up. Stephen Bardo will join us here in a bit. We've got to take a break. Back with more from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios right after this. Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. Ugly Grouper, located on beautiful Anna Maria in Florida, is the place to be, and not just because they have unforgettable meals, including locally sourced seafood. The Ugly Grouper has your favorite craft beers and cocktails, along with live music every day. The Ugly Grouper is family-friendly, able to host private parties, and has the biggest grouper you've ever seen. The Ugly Grouper is the place to be on Anna Maria Island, Florida. Tell them Indiana Sports Beat sent you. Go to theUglyGrouper.com for more information. When it comes to apparel and promotions, Freethink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. Freethink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. Freethink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what Freethink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com. Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth's Sour Mash Bourbons, Sweet Mash, and Hard Road Rye, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular Toasted Coconut Rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Thursday. Just wrapped up with Bob Kravitz and looking forward to talking to Stephen Bardo in the next segment as Big Ten basketball rolls on. He was on the call last night for that Michigan game, Michigan-Oregon. Look forward to talking to him about that Michigan team as the Wolverines come to Bloomington on Saturday to take on Indiana, along with Dusty May. So that will be a little irony there. But Michigan State, I was just looking over their schedule, as they've lost their last 2 games as they fight to stay at the top of the Big Ten standings. Lost to USC, who's been surging, and UCLA. So the West Coast trip, not good for Sparty. Did not work out well for them, but they return home to take on another West Coast team in Oregon coming up in their next game. And then Indiana. Then they have to play at Illinois. They have to they welcome in Purdue. They have to go to Michigan. And, they have played Michigan twice yet. So, this it's going to be, this Big Ten race is going to turn out to be something. Purdue involved in that schedule, and then Michigan State playing each other twice yet to go in their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the last 5 games, Michigan State and Michigan play twice. That's something. So, and then Purdue, their schedule the rest of the way out, Let's see. What do they have to I know they play Indiana one more time. Let's see. They welcome in USC, who has been hot, but I don't see USC getting another win on the road like that. They have to go to Michigan yet. They have to go to Michigan State. They have to come to Indiana and Illinois. This Big Ten race is far from over, and it is going to be fun. I mean, it's back end loaded of great games as we head down the stretch, and I'm here for it, man. I'm looking forward to it. But Purdue right now, a half-game lead on top of Michigan and Michigan State, as they both following closely behind. And then UCLA, who had been going through a roller coaster of a season, has kind of balanced things out. They're 8-4 in their inaugural trip through the Big Ten Conference, 2 games back, as are the Wisconsin Badgers, 8-4. And then Maryland, the Illini, and the Buckeyes. The Buckeyes are 5-6 in the conference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8th place team in the conference has a losing conference record. 8 out of 18. That's not exactly parity. That's a little heavier at the top. I would have expected that to go a little deeper for a winning record and 500 at best. But you've got Ohio State and USC, who has just surged up the board at 5-6. And then you have a group of 4 teams tied at 5-7. That includes Indiana, along with Nebraska, Rutgers, and Oregon, who early on was ranked and sitting at the high atop the standings. They have dropped like a rock. And then you've got Iowa and Northwestern, the bottom 3 teams, Northwestern and Minnesota, still tied for that final spot to get into the Big Ten tournament. Who will not? Right now, Penn State and Washington bringing up the rear. So we shall see. It'll be exciting. No doubt about that. Looking forward to it. And then, of course, tonight, there are more games coming, as always, on the docket. In the Big Ten alone, you've got, that was last night, Illinois at Rutgers. I mentioned that those games. And then today is the 6th. Yeah. Just one game. Maryland, number 18 Maryland, goes to Ohio State. Ohio State could sure use a win. And Maryland needs it too. Everybody needing wins, man. But not everybody can have one. So we'll see. In the Southeast Conference, what do they have going on? Always some good games there. SEC. No game scheduled in the SEC tonight. Last night, number 15 Missouri was at Tennessee. Tennessee held off 85-81. Arkansas, man, they are on a bender. They go to Texas. And the Fighting Caliparis, 78-70 win. John L. Davis led them with 24 points. Man. LSU was at Georgia. Georgia holding on, 81-62 in a big win. Asa Newell, recognize that name? He was on Montverde's starting 5 last year. He had 17 points. A lot of those guys' names, man. Asa Newell, Cooper Flagg, Liam McNeely. Just trying to think of some of the names that were on that Montverde team from a year ago. Craziness. Hey, we've got to take a break. Stephen Bardo is going to join us from the Big Ten Fox Peacock Networks. He did the Michigan game last night, Michigan-Oregon game, and so he has a great insight into this Michigan team, as they are the next opponent for Indiana. We'll back with more right after these messages from the Hard Truth Distilling Company Studios. Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth's sour mash bourbons, sweet mash, and hard road ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular toasted coconut rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. If you're looking for a home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Advanced Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl Sizemore from RE/MAX Realty at cheryl@indiehomepros.com or 317-701-0838. 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore help you find the home you want today. Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33 Pizza. Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Thursday. Glad to have you along. Looking forward to Stephen Bardo joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio anytime when he's able to do so here in the next couple of minutes. He was on the call last night of the Michigan-Oregon game, and so a great insight into Indiana's next opponent coming up on Saturday, the Michigan Wolverines, as Dusty May comes into town. Well, is what will be a unique situation. And speaking of the devil, Mr. Bardo joining us now. Stephen, how are you, sir? Still getting things lined up. We'll get him connected and rolling on. Just start talking whenever you can, and I'll know you're there. But yeah, looking forward to Stephen as he was on the call last night of that game. And it's kind of odd. I was just thinking, it's weird that two of my favorite color analysts now are, there you go. Stephen, I was just thinking, it's kind of weird now that two of my favorite analysts are guys of former teams that I probably as a fan couldn't stand, yourself and Robbie Hummel, because you guys just both do such an outstanding job. So it's hard not to like you for what you do, respect you for all of that, but having gotten to know you as a person, that makes it all even better. But it's just funny how life changes things, man. But welcome aboard. Saw you doing on the call last night up in Ann Arbor. Man, Michigan looking good. Dusty May's got him rolling.
Yeah, it's amazing what he's been able to do, Jim, in such a short amount of time. How he's put his program in place, how the guys have really bought into their role acceptance, and they're playing for one another. They're a fun team to watch, and boy, is Danny Wolf talented. My goodness.
Dude, he's a problem is what he is.
Yes, he is.
He is a problem. He's 7 foot. He can stand out and knock down. He looked so good shooting that 3 last night. He had a step back one time. You recall it, you mentioned it, I think, but oh my God. Oh, then he had this ball handling. I'm like, wait, what? This is nuts. Down over the weekend, I was at Montverde, and I saw AJ DeBansa from Utah Prep, who is the top recruit in the country. This dude is nuts. He's 6'9", handles the ball like he's 6'3". He doesn't have that 3-point shot yet, but when he gets that, he's going to be a freak because he's got everything else. He can rebound. He's intense. He can do everything else. But, oh, my, if he gets that, he's going to be something. But, yeah, watching Wolf last night, I'm like, this dude can handle the ball, shoot the three, and he's 7 foot. He's got a ticket to the NBA waiting for him.
I think so. He's got the skill set that they like. There's not many guys that size that have the floor vision that Danny does. His ability to pass with either hand off the bounce. You got to respect his shooting ability. And then a couple times he just played bully ball. He just put his shoulder into Brandon Angel or Nate Biddle's chest and got right to the rim. So he and Vlad Golden, those two up front, man, they're a problem.
And Vladimir, he's not as prolific a shooter as Wolf is, but he can and will step out there and shoot and take that shot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he will. And he's 75% free throw shooter. I believe he's hit 25 or 26 threes on the season. Very, very skilled. And the thing that I'm really most impressed with, Jim, I covered Florida Atlantic in their conference tournament championships when Dusty May was still the coach and Vlad was still at FAU. And he wasn't this demonstrative, like the growling, the show of expression after a dunk or something. He didn't do that before he got to Michigan. And so I think they've really elevated his game. And, the combination of their front court and what Trey Donaldson is doing in the backcourt, Michigan is they seem to be playing some of the best basketball of the season.
Well, they're playing Big Ten basketball now. You can tell that you mentioned elevated. They have elevated their game because the talent is elevated every night. You're playing teams that right down to the bottom that can beat you, because we've seen it. Every team in the Big Ten, save for Indiana, has a solid win over a team that will play in the NCAA tournament. And I mean, it doesn't matter if we're talking about Washington or Northwestern or Minnesota. Every one of those, Minnesota's beaten Michigan. So
yes,
it can happen. And it's just how it goes. But yeah, Michigan, man, they're fun to watch. But that seems to be the way to go. We've seen Illinois, while they're just a little young, they've been fun to watch with Kasparas Jokicanis and Ivisic. They're the same thing, man. They got Ivisic. He steps out there and just knocks it down on you, and the big guy. So that is the way to go. Indiana, unfortunately, had that with Kellel Ware last year. They don't have that this year. They're not going to be able to play with those kinds of teams in that style.
Yeah, and if you look at the Hoosiers, and let's take a look at like Michigan coming in to Simon Scott Assembly Hall. If you go back and look at what Minnesota did to upset Michigan, you have to force turnovers on the Wolverines. That's their Achilles heel. They get very loose with the basketball. So if you can force turnovers, you can get to them a little bit. Also, dribble penetration. If you can get downhill, something that Miles Rice can do. If you can get downhill, you can put a little bit of pressure on them, right? Now, Vlad Golden is great at the rim in terms of rim protection. But Umar Ballo can put pressure on him, maybe get him into foul trouble, because that's something that Vlad Golden has done. He can pick up 2 fouls pretty quickly. So I do see some areas where Indiana can attack, but it's a small margin of error because Indiana, has had their struggles as well. But when you're trying to attack a team like Michigan, you got to be hitting on all your cylinders, and you got to attack them where they're most vulnerable. And can Indiana do that? That remains to be seen.
Yeah, and Indiana's running out of chances to get the kind of quality wins they need. Unbelievably, they're not on in many brackets right now, but they're not that far off. Had they been able to get that win over Maryland, a win over Purdue, that would have changed their fortunes. Luckily, they still do have a couple of opportunities. This game is one of them. You've got Michigan State coming up after that, Purdue again. So they have a few more opportunities left, but they are quickly running out of those types of chances.
Yeah, they are. And it's going to be similar to a lot of teams that are bunched up in that area. Rutgers got a big one last night against Illinois. Nebraska's starting to come back around where they had been slumping. So you're looking at teams in that area where are they in? Are they out? Are they on the bubble? And so who is a team that can string some of those wins together? Obviously Indiana has shown that they can do it. The way that they played against Purdue, they showed the toughness. They showed the heart. I know that Mike Woodson has questioned his team's ability to play hard at all times. I think they've shown that. The consistency piece, it's what's eluded them. So the Hoosiers have some great opportunities coming up. But like you said, I would say this, but I'd be messing up my FCC ruling. But there's certain old school sayings, but it's time to either do something or go home.
Yeah,
show up or go home.
Yeah, exactly. You are as correct as can be. The standings in the Big Ten tournament, or Big Ten rather, I would have thought that their Big Ten would have had a few more teams that were probably going to make the Big Ten this year. Or the NCAA. But it's becoming more top loaded as we get through the season. I noted earlier in the show that you only have to go to the 8th place team to find Ohio State with a losing record in the conference, which that's a little higher than I would have thought it would have been, but it is what it is. And I don't know how much that's going to change. Big Ten is probably not going to get a ton of teams in the NCAA tournament this year, but the ones they do get in are all going to be problematic for their opponents.
Oh, I don't doubt. I have no doubt that you're exactly right, Jim, because as I pull up the standings, Braden Smith is playing like the best point guard in the country. Michigan State may have the best team approach of any team in the Big Ten in terms of how deep they go and how many players they play and their assist rate, their usage rate for their players. We just talked about Michigan. UCLA now has won 6 in a row. And Tom Izzo said that was the most physical game that Michigan State has played in a while, like in the last couple of years. So now you've got Mick Cronin. Whatever he did, he's got his guys playing, and they play a physical, slower style pace. Wisconsin will hit you with threes. They'll drop 100 on your head. Maryland will bang you with their 2 bigs. Yeah, Maryland will bang you with their 2 bigs up front, and you don't know what Illinois team you're going to get. That Illinois might be the scariest team in that group in that they're so unpredictable. They can beat anybody, but they can lose to anybody as well. So you're right, Jim. The teams that will actually get into the tournament from the Big Ten, they might have more of an opportunity to throw monkey wrenches in the seedings that we'll see with Big Ten teams in the tournament.
Yeah, Oregon, who is a strong team, they just kind of keep falling, but they're a very good team.
They are.
And they'll probably they're going to make the NCAA tournament, I would think. But
yes.
Do they make it even with a losing Big Ten record?
I think so, because their non-conference wins are some of the best in the country.
Yeah.
When they won that Players Era tournament, they went through Alabama, Texas A&M, and I believe San Diego State is who else was the 3rd team that they beat. And so those are quality wins. And then I'm because all these games start to run together in February, Jim. But they've got another.
I can only imagine.
They got another good quality win in the non-conference, and they've got decent wins in the Big Ten as well. So Oregon's a team that's going to be dangerous once they get outside of league play. So you're right. The conference, it may not be as strong top to bottom as the SEC this season, because I think the SEC is clearly the best conference in the country. But in terms of competitive balance, top to bottom, Big 12, SEC, Big East, they can't touch the Big 10 this year.
Oh, no doubt. I agree with that. Let's see. Oh, USC. Talk about a team on the rise, man. They looked like roadkill early in the season, but they are now a phoenix. They have risen from the ashes, and they got that huge win at Illinois. Of course, they were without, I think, was Kasparis Jokichanis, but didn't play. Maybe that's not having your best player, but all that aside, USC has done some things. They just beat Michigan State.
Yeah, they did. And it took a Nick Martinelli floater for them to lose to Northwestern. So if you take that in consideration, UCLA beat them by 6, but then they won at Nebraska. That's not easy. Everybody in Big Ten knows how hard it is to go out to Lincoln and come away with a victory. So they were able to do that. So they're a talented squad. They're capable. And it took a while for Eric Musselman to figure out the rotation that he wanted to play. And so they play a little bit smaller, but it's more difficult for teams to match up with them when they do go smaller. So USC, another team that they will probably not get into the tournament, but coming down the stretch, they may ruin some other teams' chances just by the way that they're playing.
And they might end up sneaking in if they can continue. If they can pick up a few more wins like they have, they may surprise some of us. Who knows? But it'll be interesting to see, no doubt. Looking forward to that. Ohio State, they have really just looked lukewarm. They see Nebraska has been up and down. Man, they're up and then they're down. They're probably the most roller coaster team so far of the conference season that has a legit shot of still doing something.
I agree. And, there was a few games back that Kevin Kugler, my dear friend, and me were calling, and he looked lifeless. When Nebraska got blasted at Wisconsin, that was a game we did. They lost 83-55, and Bryce Williams looked like he either had something personally going on or he was sick. But then, he comes back the following game against Illinois. He woke up in the second half, and he's been maybe the best player in the conference in the last week and a half. So he and Jawan Gary are really carrying that team, and they're starting to get a few more contributions. Connor Essegian has done well coming off the bench. Raleigh Wooster is a veteran guard who can, kind of old school. So Fred Hoiberg is starting to put it together, finding the rhythm that his team needs, and they're playing a lot better basketball right now.
And UCLA, you mentioned you don't know what Mick Cronin did or said, but boy, he was having hell. He was either dog cussing his players, dog cussing himself, dog cussing the officials, and then all of a sudden it got right. And UCLA has just been they've rebounded. They're 17-6 overall, 8-4 in the conference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. They're tied for 4th and 5th. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's probably 5 teams I think legitimately will have a shot at winning the Big Ten tournament this year in the Big Ten. Not that there couldn't be more, but Purdue, Michigan State, Michigan, Wisconsin, UCLA. I think those are the 5 teams that could legitimately lay claim to the title.
I would throw Illinois in there as well. Just because
Illinois, I love them. I think that you mentioned it earlier. You just don't know what you're going to get. And I think it's just because of the youth of Kasparas Jokichanis. But he has been, oh my God. When they came to Bloomington, watching him was, he was something. That dude is juice. He's like butter, man. He is fun. It seems like, daggone it. Ilicic, am I saying his right name?
Ivicic.
He seems not injury prone, but he seems like he goes down at the inopportune moments for them and comes back. But he's another one, man. Golly, that dude can stroke it from outside.
Well, I think Tomislav Ivicic is Illinois' most important player. I know Jokichanis is their best player, but their most important player is Tomislav Ivicic. And the fact that he's back from mono so quickly is amazing, because I had mononucleosis as a kid, and that wipes you out. I mean, it is very difficult to come back from. I thought he's going to be out at least a month. And the fact that he's back playing right now shows how tough the kid is, one, and two, how important he is to what Illinois is doing. A guy that can space the floor, he can shoot the three, he's a great rebounder. He might be their best passer. And that's no knock on Jokichanis or Kylan Boswell, those guys, but Ivicic is a special talent. And when he's healthy and playing and in rhythm, Illinois can beat anybody in the country. I think, they showed that when Tennessee was number one and Tennessee came over to State Farm Center and needed a Jordan Gainey last-second layup to win. I think that put a message out to everybody in the country. And Illinois is going to have Duke here in a couple weeks at Madison Square Garden, a great game to get this late in the season to see where you are right before the tournament. So we'll get a good glimpse of where Illinois is going to be.
How did that game come about? Because very rarely does a Big Ten team schedule a game like this time of year.
I think what happens is you have to have a willing partner on the other side. And John Shire and his staff recognize that Illinois is going to be a really good team. Everybody's scouting overseas players now. So when you get two as talented as Illinois got and Ivisic and Yakachonis, people took notice. And so I think John Shire understand that the ACC was going to be down this season and that he needed a really competitive game that late in February before you go into conference tournaments and then go into the NCAA tournament. I think that's how they got it done. And so it's a great get for Illinois. It's a great get for Duke because Duke hasn't really been challenged that much in the ACC this year. So that's going to be a fascinating matchup that will give us a glimpse of what Illinois could possibly do come NCAA tournament time.
Yeah, and what a boost that would be to Illinois and their resume. Not that they need it; they're solidly in everything. But wow, that would be a boost. That could be a seed boost.
Yes, there's no doubt about it. If Illinois can beat Duke in their second home court, which is Madison Square Garden, I mean, just not only from a confidence standpoint, Jim, but a national narrative standpoint. You beat Duke in late February, you go, I don't care what you do in the Big Ten Conference Tournament. You can lose the first round. But nationally, people will start to really say, look, this Illinois team is a team that we need to watch. Because if they can handle Duke like this, they can handle anybody in the country. Because to me, Jim, the two best teams in the country are clearly Auburn and Duke.
Oh, yeah, and it's especially for the seventh place Big Ten team to do something like that. That would be a little feather in the Big Ten's cap.
I agree.
Not that it really matters because that will all play out in March when we get going, and I can't wait to see how that goes. It was having UCLA and these West Coast teams in the conference. It's been fun this year to see about the traveling. And speaking of traveling, notice that Michigan State just did their West Coast trip to LA and lost both of those games out there. I'm sure that was not fun for Tom Izzo.
No, and I hope that your viewers and Big Ten basketball fans didn't think that Michigan State was going to go unscathed.
Yeah, no.
I mean, they're a good team, but is anyone really scared of Michigan State? I'm being dead serious, Jim.
No, because they had their toughest part of their schedule is yet to come. I think.
Exactly, and there's no shade to Michigan State. I'm not throwing shade on it. I got tremendous respect for Tom Izzo and what they're doing this year. I think it's one of the better stories in college basketball, actually. But when it comes down to the last 2 minutes of the game, where are they going to go with the basketball? Jay Nakes is a good player, but he's not a closer. Frankie Fiddler is a good basketball player, but he's not a closer. And so that's my biggest question for them. And I think they got humbled a little bit when they went out to Los Angeles and UCLA and USC put back-to-back losses on them. They'll be better for it as a team, but I don't know that Michigan State really scares Michigan or Purdue, or we just saw what UCLA did to them. So I think they're good, but Michigan State would not be one of the teams that I would pick to see in the second weekend of the NCAA tournament.
Ooh, there you go. Is that because of how they're built? Because we talk about teams like Michigan and Illinois and Wisconsin who have this structure with these two bigs that can also shoot, and they have good support staff. That seems that's modern basketball now. And if you're successful with that, as these teams have been, they're hard outs. Unless you beat yourself, turn the ball over or do some things that you shouldn't do. Other than that, these teams are going to be hard outs.
Oh, they're going to be hard outs. And if we're talking about Michigan State specifically, here's a formula for me to have success in the NCAA tournament. You have to have elite guard play. They've got that. Jeremy Fears has been outstanding this season in terms of being that type of pass first point guard that Tom Izzo wants. So check that box. Do you have future pros on your team? Do you have future NBA players on your team? That's a question mark. I don't necessarily see a bona fide NBA player on that Spartan roster. I just don't. So that's a question mark for me. Also, do you have a guy that can bring you home? Do you have a Braden Smith? Do you have a guy like Danny Wolf? Do you have a player even like Dawson Garcia, a guy that you can give the ball to and they can create for you when everything breaks down? Because we know in the NCAA tournament, these teams are so good, they're so well scouted that can you run your stuff for 40 minutes? Probably not. But at some point, you got to have a guy, you got to have a dude that can bring you home. Does Michigan State have a dude that can bring them home? The jury's still out on that for me. And that's why I'm taking the approach towards Michigan State in terms of having a deep run in the NCAA tournament. I just have a few question marks.
Well, and that's great that you bring that up, because that kind of leads me back to Indiana. They don't have that. And boy, was that ever more apparent than it was in the Maryland, at the end of the Maryland and at the end of the Purdue games, when there was confusion, there was just all kinds of things going on. The team did not have a plan. Nothing worked right, and no one kind of seemed to know exactly what they should do or what would be the best route, whether at the end of either game. And both of those games were very winnable. Doesn't mean they would have won them, but you would sure like to have had a shot at it. And they did not give themselves a chance to do that really with what they did. And I don't know. I mean, I've guessed all year long at this, and I know that you're in a different position. It's harder for you, but they just don't seem like they're prepared to make those decisions when that crunch time comes, because when it has, they haven't. And it's just, there doesn't seem to be leadership and all of that. There's actually seems to be factions and they seem to be fractured. The end of the game with Ballo and Miles Rice against Purdue. I love the intensity. I love the will and the want to win, but you also have to have, a little class about you and all that. But they've got to get themselves together, because there's no way you can win when you've got all of that other crap going on, as I'll call it.
Yeah, they have to get on the same page. And I think what I want to really address Hoosier fans here, and hear me out, Hoosier fans. That transfer portal is a tricky situation, because you're getting players that are coming in that have had success in other programs. And so to get guys to understand a different program, to go through the gauntlet of the Big Ten for the first time, to have success in pressurized situations, the good teams that have transfers that come in and do it, they're exceptional. That's an exception. That's not the rule. The rule is that teams struggle. So Indiana is kind of what the rule is when you're bringing in dynamic transfers like Umar Ballo, like Miles Rice, like Kanan Carlisle, who to me has been extremely disappointing. I really thought Kanan Carlisle was going to be a major, major factor for the Hoosiers, and he is not. I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know if it's a confidence thing, but I saw him in the preseason when I came down to Bloomington to watch practice, and he was the best player in the gym. I walked away very impressed. But there's a saying, Jim, that when you have players like that look great in practice, they're going against guys that they know. But now you get in the game and you're going against guys you don't know. You got different environments, different things. He hasn't been able to put it together. And so I want Hoosier fans to understand that when you see a team that has a bunch of transfers like Louisville, right, and what Pat Kelsey is doing at Louisville, that's the exception. That's not the rule. It's very difficult to get guys who have aspirations to possibly play at the next level to come from a different program and lock into what you're doing and get paid 6 figures while they're doing it, right? Some get paid 7 figures while they're doing it. That's a different mix, It's a different day in college basketball, and we're still in the experimental stage with all that. You understand what I'm saying, Jim? So the UConns, the Louisvilles, the very few teams that have been able to pull these guys together and get them on the same path, that's exceptional. Okay, so Indiana sitting here right now has had some disappointing losses. I know the fans are really hot about Woodson. They don't think Woodson fits the mold. But what I'm telling you is that this is not an unusual situation that Indiana's going through. They still have a chance to make the NCAA tournament. They still have a chance to turn their season around. And all it takes is one game for them to win one of those quad one victories that boost their resume, boost their confidence, and get going.
Oh, there's no doubt that that's the ironic thing is they still have a shot. Part of that is because of the opportunities that lie ahead of them.
That's right.
And it is the fans they've kind of, I think that they've jumped the shark. That's I don't think that there will be a question really that at the end of the season, a change comes to Indiana. And, that's going to be a different scenario. But the oddity is I can't recall a time where this scenario that is playing out right now with Dusty May coming to Bloomington on Saturday, and he is one of the two names that are on every Indiana fan's minds or lips right now to be in Bloomington next season. And that's just an oddity in itself. It's going to create an odd environment because I expect Dusty to get a standing ovation, much like Mike Woodson got at Mackey. And Mike will probably get booed on Saturday. So it's going to be a unique situation. It's kind of awkward for Dusty May, if you want to know the truth about it. It's probably most awkward for him than anybody else in the building.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Andy Katz had a chance to interview Dusty after the game last night, and Andy does something that I don't particularly care for, Jim, but it's all everybody in his business does. This guy just beat Oregon. Like, they had a tough game. These coaches don't think ahead like that. No. He's not sitting there. He just racked his brain to beat Oregon, and now he's thinking about Bloomington and what it's going to be like coming back into Simon Scott Assembly Hall. These coaches don't think that way. They just don't. But he gave a politically correct answer. Now, when we were at shoot around talking to him, and he says it's going to be interesting. He said, those are my formative years. He said, I love that place. But I want to caution Hoosiers fans, Jim. This is not going to be a popular comment. I don't see Dusty May leaving Michigan. I don't.
It's very possible. The only reason that I even put his name in a conversation is for one reason. His buyout is unbelievably low for any first-year P4 coach that you look at, and that had to be negotiated to be that. It currently is at $5 million, drops to $4 million May 1st, but for a first-year P4 coach, it's crazy to have a buyout that low, and that's the only reason when people would bring it up. Otherwise, I would have said he's off the table. It's not Indiana missed the boat on the opportunity to get him, but now I have to wonder, why was that negotiated in? It had to be negotiated in with purpose. Not that I'm saying that he would. That things still could have changed since that negotiation took place. He may just, you know what? I love it here. I think I can build something here with less pressure than would be at Indiana because I'm from there. My family lives there. There's a lot of different things that go into it. Trust me, I know. You also have another coach that, as Bob Kravitz said earlier, would crawl over broken glass to get to Bloomington, and Chris Beard. I know he would love to get that job. But Dusty's at Michigan. Chris is at Ole Miss. Big difference in jobs in that regard as well. So it is going to be interesting. The good thing for Indiana fans is I think that no matter what happens, they're going to be in good shape. And Indiana is going to be a program that can always rise from the ashes like a phoenix when given the opportunity, and it should. I think it's better for college basketball when a program like Indiana is good, when a Kansas is good, when Duke is good, when North Carolina is good. I mean, you don't want them to be the only teams. I get it, but it's also good for them to be good because they're still going to get beat, and people get to revel in beating great programs like that.
Oh, that's a good point, and I like where you're going with that. And here's the thing: Indiana can rise like a phoenix with Mike Woodson still in the helm as well. So don't rule that out. We've seen this before. Was it Kerry Keats, the head coach at North Carolina State? I think he was on a really hot seat last year, and they got to the Final Four, and now they're not doing so well this year. They're 2-9 in the ACC, so they're not doing great. But Mike could turn this thing around, and I think you guys remember what Luke Goody said early in the season. He got mad at the media, and he got mad at the fans. He said, "Look, don't jump on the bandwagon when we turn this thing around." I've seen this time and time again where coaches are on the hot seat and it takes one game, something clicks, the guys come together and they have a magical run. It can happen. And so I don't want people to think it's a foregone conclusion that Mike Woodson's going to be gone after this season. That's not the case. I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock into that.
Well, they certainly still have plenty of games left to get that done. 12 games played. That means you still have 8 remaining, just under half of the Big Ten season remaining. Who's going to win? Can anybody stop Purdue from winning the Big Ten title? Are they going to win 3 straight again?
I tell you what, if you can't figure out a way to control Braden Smith, then no, you're not going to beat Purdue. It's as simple as that. He is so good. I mean, I cherish the opportunities to call his game live. That's how highly I think of him. I remember, Jim, when he and Fletcher Loyer were freshmen, and I was doing some Northwestern game, and the producer wanted me to put my all-freshman team up. And I put Fletcher Loyer and Braden Smith up. And people, they killed me on Twitter. And I said, look, the first time I saw Braden Smith play in the pre-season down at Purdue in a scrimmage, he jumped off the page to me. The kid can play. I think he can play in the NBA. That's how highly I think of his game. So if anybody in the Big Ten is going to beat Purdue and you can't make life difficult like Penn State and Ace Baldwin Jr. did early in the Big Ten slate, then yes, Purdue will win 3 straight, because if he gets in a rhythm like he did the other night at Iowa, you can't beat him.
Absolutely. Do you have the game Saturday by chance?
I have Rutgers at Maryland on Sunday, which is turned out to now be a really big game.
Oh, absolutely. I figured it's either going to be you or Robbie that has the game on Saturday, because it's been one. And I'm like, all right, whichever one of you, somebody's going to have to start paying rent. I think that Robbie should have to pay rent at Simon Scott Assembly Hall. I have seen him there a ton this year. Which is great. I love seeing either one of you guys. But do you have any Indiana games left this year that you know of yet?
I don't think so. As of right now, I'm pulling my schedule up, and I don't have any Indiana left. So, man. Yeah, I know, because I love going down there and calling games. But yeah, I don't have any right now in the regular season on my schedule.
Will you be coming to Indy?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll see you in Indy then.
Oh yeah. I'll be there. Hey, I love Indy's the best sports city in the country.
Love it.
I think the Big Ten tournament needs to be there every year.
Yeah, we are in agreement, brother. We are in agreement. I can't wait to see you there and buy you a beverage.
That sounds good, Jim. Always a pleasure being with you, my man.
Man, it is always a pleasure to have you. The people love you, and with good reason. Stephen Bardo. And don't forget Bardo's Tribe, bardostribe.com, right?
That's right. Thank you.
He is the original Big Ten OG. Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
All right, Jim. Take care, my man.
Stephen Bardo joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. To wrap things up, always a blast talking to him. Love Stephen. He's a great guy, great dude, and glad to have him part of the friends of the Indiana Sports Beat Radio Network. And looking forward to doing this again tomorrow. That means Todd Leary will be with us, amongst others. We'll see what else we can get going. I know that Zach will be with us as well. So we'll get you caught up on everything and ready for the weekend. Thank you so much for being with us today. As always, we appreciate you. Without you, we have no reason to be here. Other than that, join us tomorrow. Make sure you hit the like button if you're following on YouTube, and we'll do this all again. Until tomorrow, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.